Hey, what's going on, ladies and folks? This is the fake intro. Pranked. Idiots.
When there's stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and folks? This is the real intro now. I hope you guys fell for that. Like, that was so obviously not the real intro, based on like my tone of voice and everything, but you guys just walked right to that trap. So how y'all doing? Did you have a nice long weekend? I sure did, and that is my reasoning for not doing this podcast yesterday. You know I'm so timely as always. And I did say I'd never do it on Tuesday again, and that was just a bold-faced lie. So this is kind of my confession video. It's my apology video. Just want to say I'm so sorry to all of you. Everyone, the hundreds of you that reached out, like, hey, where's the podcast? Where's the podcast? We're hanging out with the family. I really want to show my family the podcast. What am I going to do? I didn't have my mic with me. I went back home to Barrie this weekend, so I didn't bring anything with me. And I was going to do it when I got home at like 8:30 last night. I was just like, nah, I'm going to watch Game of Thrones instead. So yeah, that's why there's no podcast on Labor Day. A little Labor Day delay. But here we are, back and stronger than ever on this episode of Air and Air Out. Episode 51. I was going to say first podcast episode of September, but I can't say that anymore. We have officially done a podcast in every single month, and I just checked actually in 2 days. September 8th is actually was when the first podcast was uploaded, so next week will be the 1 year anniversary episode, because I'm not ready for that yet. Ethan and I have plans, and we procrastinate on that too, so we'll still get it done. We always get it done, but yeah, hopefully we have some fun stuff for that. And I plan to do a couple episodes. Probably might do an episode with Ethan, and then do an episode with myself, kind of react to that first podcast, a bonus episode, as you will, to make up for that one episode I missed this year. Back in, when was that? May? That's like not a bad streak though. Like out of 52 weeks, I did a podcast in 51 weeks. I'm a quitter, like through and through. I quit everything. I was thinking about that this weekend. I start projects I get really excited about, and then I stop doing them. Remember when I was gonna draw, make a little animated, still want to do it, make like animated stories to my podcast. Didn't end up doing that. I haven't touched the tablet in months now. The Indisputable Duncan, the short story I was writing, I got stuck at a point, haven't touched it since. Guitar I stopped for months, haven't got back to it. I was gonna ride my bike to work. I brought my bike down in May. Have not rode my bike to work once. Have not rode my bike once at all, actually. Yeah, I don't follow things through, but two things. I guess three things. Yoga, very good at getting that done daily. Not drinking, still the longest streak I've had of anything. We're like 300. It could be like 377 days or something today. And then what's the last one? Podcast. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Those three things I just have not faltered on, whereas everything else just seems to just fall to the wayside. But those are three good things. That's like, drinking's great for my mental and physical health. Yoga's great for my, like, I'm super flexible, my body's doing well, and the podcast, I just like really enjoy doing it. And other people seem to enjoy hearing it. So I kind of stick to that, stick to those three. So not bad, not bad triplicate of things to keep doing. But anyways, as I was saying, welcome back to the 51st episode of Air and Air Out. Didn't plan anything. I have a few things written down. I have a nice long dream. I don't know if I'll get to that. I don't know what people think of the dreams. I had a very long nicotine dream last week involving Ethan and a hair salon and hot babes. So we'll see if we get to that. But one thing I wrote down actually earlier last week, because I was like, I need topics after the trash episode 3, completing the trilogy. It was like vacations and stuff. I don't think I've ever talked about this place that was near and dear to my heart in childhood, and that was Willow Beach Cottages. That was we're not a wealthy family. We don't go on extravagant big vacations, but my parents could squeeze off 2 weeks every year to go on vacation. So for a long time, Willow Beach Cottages, from the time I was a baby up until I want to say like 8th grade. I don't think I ever went in high school, so probably yeah up till 2008. So like it's a good 14, 14 years. Yeah, yeah, 14 years. That's not bad. So Willow Beach Cottages was up in Halliburton on Lake Kashaga and it's like this compound. It's not a compound. It's like a resort. They got a bunch of very small cottages. There's 12 cottages, all various like 4 or 5 different designs. I think depending on like the family size. And we always got cottage number one, which was right beside the water, like the furthest in like the corner. So if you want to think about the property, you got the lake at one end, road at the other end, and our cottage was like at the front right corner, right beside the water, cabin number one, and that's like a place that I have a lot of fond memories. What I remember Willow Beach Cottages. Let's talk about as a kid. They did this thing called the kids program. So every morning on the weekdays, the son or daughter, I think it was mostly them, of the people that own the cottages, the Gages. They've sold it now, and it's not the same place. But they would walk around the lawn ringing a little bell, the kids club bell, and then all the kids would like run out and join them and walk around with them as they ring the bell, and they let you ring the bell, and it's a ton of fun. And then you go meet in the middle of the property, right at the back of their house, like their main house where they lived, and they'd have a picnic table set up, and then you just like hang out with all the kids for the day. You'd like break for lunch, and then in the afternoon you'd go again. So it'd be like, I want to say like 9 till noon, and then I don't know, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, Monday to Friday, and just have like a ton of super fun activities. They're like specific days. So I think like on Tuesday was tie dye day, I want to say. So you'd always, bring in your own shirt, and you do tie dye with all the other kids. And I had so many tie dye shirts, and I never got good at it. I always wanted to like do those patterns where it's kind of like an explosion coming out the middle, and you really have to be smart with like how you elastic it up, and then you can make some sick designs. And I didn't have the patience for that, so I would just like take my white shirt, just bundle up elastics wherever I could, just make like a bunch of nipples sticking out of it, look like a deformed cow's udder, and then just like dump it in whatever color I could, because I couldn't even tell what colors I was dumping it in anyways. Is this blue? Is this purple? Is this orange? Is this red? I got no idea. So I just had this really kind of hard to mess up tie-dye, which is kind of the good thing, because even if you do, just like the more random it is, kind of the better it looks. Same technique I used for that NASA sweater that I don't know if I've ever worn on this podcast, but people might have seen me wearing it. And the whole reason I tied it that NASA sweater is because when I got it, I spilled salsa and red wine on it the first day. And it's a white sweater, so I just stained it. And then for like a year and a half, I just had to sit with this ugly ass stain on it until we finally tie-dyed it. More than a year and a half, probably 2 or 3 years. Yeah, so Tuesday was tie-dye day. And then I remember Thursdays, I think, was the big water balloon fights we would do every year. They had all these cool like water balloon devices. They had one of those like hot potato water balloon things where you put a balloon in it, and then you crank the timer, and then you pass it around, and then it'll like pop on you at a certain time. It was a ton of fun. They'd have like water guns, and yeah, that was those are big Thursdays. Those are exciting days. All the kids go into an all-out war, and then going to find the parents and like soaking them as well with water balloons. Um, those are honestly the only 2 main days I remember. But like every day, there's like kind of something specific, or it just be like just playing games in the field, running around, tossing around a ball or a frisbee or stuff, and yeah, just kind of like keeping all the kids occupied as the parents were like day drinking on the beach. I never even got that experience of being an adult at the cottage. I'm sure it's a lot of fun for the parents to like see their kids run around having fun with other kids and not having to be like watching them constantly. But I also would like to know what that other experience was. I mean, there's probably like a lot of peace of mind knowing your kids are taken care of for 5 or 6 hours out of the day. Um, yeah. So the kids program was a ton of fun. I remember I never wore shoes at Willow Beach. That was a point of pride for me. Never. As soon as we got there for 2 weeks, those shoes were never going on unless we're leaving the property. And I was like walking through the grass. I remember I would get stung by bees so much, my feet would be swollen. So I just stomp on all these little bumblebees hidden in the grass. And then even walking across like gravel roads going up to, they had this like portable at the opposite end of the property from us. It was like their little rec room. So they had a ping pong table, a computer with like really old games like Cubert and Solitaire and all those like super basic games on the computer. And they like built a pool hall a few years in since we got there, so you could go rent like pool cues and stuff like that for free. Like just you just go ask them for the key to the pool room. They can go play pool. So I did that a few times in the afternoons. This is not gonna be a very cohesive story. It's just me as I remember things happening at Willow Beach. So my friends I had at Willow Beach. Remember, there's one kid, Mackenzie, and him and his family always rented cabin 12, which was the biggest cabin. They had it was Mackenzie, his sister Madison, and then I guess their cousin Allie and her older sister. So then like I think Madison was my sister's age, so a year older than me. Mackenzie was a few years younger than me, and Allie might have been my age. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't really talk to Madison or Allie because girls are yucky. But Mackenzie, I remember he had some kind of like some banged up legs. His legs didn't work right like our legs work. So he would always drive around in one of those like little electric jeeps, one of those kids' electric jeeps, and I was so jealous. I never got to drive that thing with permission. I remember one day we were down at the beach, and I think he was playing in the water, and then he wanted me to like carry him out like from the beach back up to his little jeep parked on the grass, and I was like, now's my chance. He can't chase me. So I like ran out by myself and hopped in his jeep and like drove around for a bit and just left him sitting in the water. And then I think some parents saw that I was just like taunting this crippled boy as he's like laying in the water, just getting splashed by waves, and I'm just having the time of my life doing donuts. And he's like, Aaron, please come help me. Come on. That was a good time. That was a great time. But their family stopped coming one year, and I didn't have a cell phone or like any contact information of any of them. So on moving day, it was an exciting day to see which of your friends are going to show up, who's going to be around to play with. For most families only stayed for a week. So that we'd be there for like a week, and then all the families would leave, and then like another rotation of families would come in. So there's like, I always preferred week one because there's like more kids my age, and then week two were more like the degenerate kids, the kids we didn't like. What was the names? Steve or Scott and Rachel. I think they were like, I'm gonna say they're probably cabin 8, which these cabin numbers won't mean anything to you guys. This is just from my own memory. Yeah, they were bad kids, but their dad was Italian or Irish, one of those two. I feel like it should be pretty obvious, but I can't remember. And then every Thursday night of that second week, we'd have a big kids versus adult soccer game, which is actually a ton of fun too. I played barefoot all the time. My feet were so like I was so good at kicking a soccer ball barefoot, no like hyperinflated or whatever. I could beam that thing because my feet were just callous, but like stonemason hands, just concrete blocks down there from bee stings and walking on gravel and kicking soccer balls and burning them on sand. Yeah, so every Thursday night I'd get all the dads together, and then all the kids and like all the moms would sit along on the sideline with like their lawn chairs set up, and we'd play like a 2 or 3 hour soccer game. I want to say the kids usually won, but I feel like the dads would let us. But yeah, I want to say his name was Scott. Scott and Rachel. Their dad was like, he was a cool guy. I remember one year he asked me he always asked me, who do you think is going to win the World Cup? And I was just at Italy because like I knew Italy's a good team. And then one year Italy did win, so he's like, "Oh, of course you chose Italy. I'm sure you're such a big Italy fan." I'm like, I have no idea who's on Italy. I'm not even positive where Italy is, to be honest. It's somewhere in Europe. I know spaghettis and like fettuccinis, and that's about all I know about Italy. But I was a kind of an all-star on that team because I was fast. I was a fast kid. You might not know it now looking at me because I'm, bit of a bulkier guy, got a little more weight on me. But back then, oh man, I was shorter, fast, and nimble. I could just zip around with that ball and just tuck it in. Yeah, big soccer games, ton of fun. What other activities did we do at Willow Beach Cottages? Banana boats. Have you guys ever been on a banana boat? This was something like later on that we start doing. So like down on the lake, there's like, there's all kind of like water sports companies that do like boogie boarding and water skiing. And one of the things they do is you can rent a banana boat for like an hour. So a guy would come out in a speedboat, and then behind him, it was this giant inflated banana, and then like two other like inflated, like, big balloons on either side of the banana that you could like set your feet on, and then you're like hunched over the banana, and like there's some handles on it too. Then the boat would just rip around. I think you get 5 people on it at a time, so you'd have to like go find, me and my sister would have to go find 3 other kids that wanted to join us on the banana boat for the afternoon. And then they would just rip around the lake and try and like throw you off the banana. Essentially, it's like tubing, except you're sitting on a large banana, and there's multiple people. So if you fall off, there's a chance that you are gonna fall and boot someone in the face, which happened multiple times. I kicked a lot. I always wanted to sit in the front, and I always ended up like just punching Rachel in the face or something, just crushing them as I was coming down. And honestly, it felt good. But yeah, banana boats were a ton of fun. I don't know if I don't think I've seen a banana boat outside of that Willow Beach Cottages, but I haven't been on a ton of lakes since then. We did like a few cottage, like independent cottage rentals for a few years after that, and then by like grade 12, I had a job, had to get a job for the summer, and I have not been out since with my family. That's kind of our last family vacation was when I was in high school. So it's been some time. It'd be nice to do that again. Um, yeah, the fires. There was a big bonfire Monday night, like the first Monday night, I want to say, where they'd invite everybody down to the fire pit. There's only one fire pit on the property, and I think you had to get like permission if you wanted to use it for yourself. But Monday night was the kind of like the getting to know everybody. All the families come down, bring your own chairs, and then the same people that ran the kids camp would run the campfires. So like they'd sing a lot of campfire songs. There was a moose. What is he? This is a butcher one. I'm gonna butcher this one. Why can't I think of a single campfire song we used to sing? Everywhere we go, people always ask us, who we are, so we tell them, we're from Willow Beach, mighty, mighty Willow Beach, mighty, mighty Willow Beach, and if you can't hear us, we'll shout a little louder, and then you get louder and louder, and then you call on someone else to like do the next verse, and they go, and this time underwater style. What were the other songs you sang? I said a boom, chicka boom. I said a boom, a chicka rocka, chicka boom. And then you can do that version, and there's like other versions of that are I said a race car style. I said a vroom. I said a vroom, shift a vroom. I said a vroom, a shift a grinder, shift a vroom. What else we got? We had a janitor style. I said a broom. I said a broom, push a broom. I said a broom, a push a mop, a push a mop, a push a broom. And that was always nice because like if you were a returning person, you would just know like have this collection that you could like blow the minds of all the new families. Like they're never gonna understand this like Elvis style that we do. I don't remember what Elvis style was. I don't know if there was an Elvis style. So sorry to disappoint on that front. But what was the moose one? The moose is in the water, eating his supper. What is he doing? He's sleeping. What was the sticky? There's also one like a sticky moose on the loose. There's a moose on the loose drinking juice. I don't remember how that one goes. Me and my sister remember. But yeah, and you'd eat like marshmallows and s'mores. Honestly, I'm not a big marshmallow guy. I'll come right out and say that a controversial take. Not a big marshmallow guy. I don't really understand it. Even like a well cooked marshmallow like over a fire just doesn't really do it for me. That's just like pure sugar. I guess I'm not really like a sugary guy. I like the chocolate and the graham cracker for s'mores. And like the marshmallow does like add a nice, gooey layer to it. But as far as just like roasting marshmallows and eating them, fresh off the stick, doesn't do it for me. Spider dogs, whole other level. I could eat 1,000 spider dogs. Hot dogs without buns are 0 calories. You could just eat an entire package and you would not feel it. So yeah, love me some spider dogs. What else was going on at Willow Beach Cottages? There was this old movie theater we used to go to, and I was trying to remember the name, and it just came to me. Kinmount Theaters. There's this really old movie theater. Whenever there's like a rainy day, we'd all pile up into the car and go driving to Kinmount, and it was like this old house / movie theater tucked off a highway in the bush. Like you wouldn't really know it was there if you're just driving by it. And there's like a cool museum of like old cinema that you would walk through as you're going into a theater. There's probably only like 4 or 5 theaters in this building. You know, not great seats, not a big screen, but just the experience and being like, that's like, you know, that's kind of what you do on a rainy, you know, Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening when you're out of the cottage, because there's no internet. We had no internet for the 2 weeks that we were up there, which that was nice. I mean, I didn't really miss out on anything. All I wanted to do was like play Call of Duty at that time, so that's kind of like the only thing I was missing out on. But yeah, there's no like being disconnected from social media or anything, or like disconnected from your friends. Um, I do remember one year I saw my friend Quinn. I saw his parents were at the main office, and the main office also had what they called the tuck shop, and the tuck shop was like a little candy store they would run between 5 and 6. So normally our parents would give us like a toonie each day. You say, all right, go to the tuck shop and get whatever you want. And candies, chocolate bars were $1, and candies were like 10 cents per piece. So sometimes I would just like save up until I had like $5 and then just get $5 worth of like Bigfoot or $5 worth of Fuzzy Peaches. And you give them a little brown bag, and you could just walk over the beach mucking, and everyone knows it came from the tuck shop. That was a great memory. The sauna room and the hot tub room. I never used a sauna because I didn't really get it as a kid. But they had a hot tub there, and I would go to the hot tub. It'd be like 40 degrees outside, and I'd be like, I'm going to go to the hot tub and relax inside the hot tub. Actually, it was an indoor one, and the room like had that nice like fresh wood smell because it was like pretty freshly built. So I just love that smell, and now every time I smell that and I go into a sauna or a hot tub room, I like just get nostalgic about that Willow Beach hot tub. And I was always back then I was like no jets in the hot tub. I just wanted a nice calm water. And then now I see that's kind of weird. It's kind of like just taking a bath with a group of people. It's kind of very uncomfortable. You don't want to see what's going on with everyone's legs and their bathing suits. You know, you just muddy up that water, get those jets on cranked full power, spray right up your butt, and just enjoy it. But yeah, back then I'd be like, no jets, no one turn the jets on. I'm relaxing. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I want pure silence. I'm just gonna sit in this pot of water by myself and ponder: am I gonna play badminton or volleyball after, or am I gonna go grab a bag of Doritos and walk to the beach? That's another like very fond memory I have, is walking from my cottage back to the beach, just like mucking a bag of chips, because my parents like I wanted a snack. And my parents like, well, bring enough for all of us, and then I'm like, I'm gonna eat as many as I can between here and the beach, so they can, you know, mission accomplished, and I don't have to miss out. What else did we do? I don't remember any movies we really saw at Kidmount. I remember one time I saw another girl went to school with, Rachel Newby. I guess she has a cottage up there. I don't know where, but like we were in line at Kidmount, and she just turned around. She's like, Aaron? I'm like, what the heck? Rachel? And I was like, hi, yeah, we're at a cottage. I was not very social back then. And she's like, oh, neat. And then she like turned back around and then went inside. I think we saw a different movie. But yeah, that was weird. That's what I was saying though. My friend Quinn, yeah, I was at the tuck shop, and his parents came in to talk to like the management staff, because like the front office desk is right beside the tuck shop. I remember being so fired up. Like the next year, I'm like, holy shit, Quinn's gonna be at Willow Beach Cottages. He's gonna have so much fun, and I'm gonna actually know somebody. I'm gonna be the talk of the town of having like an outside friend. I'm gonna have technically 2 cottages I can go into, Quinn's cottage and my cottage. And I was so excited. And then like all throughout the Saturday moving day, I think. Yeah. Or maybe it was Sunday. I don't recall. On one of those days, I remember just like every car that pulled into the parking lot, I'm like, is that Quinn? Is that Quinn? And it never was. They never came. I guess they were just staying at a resort down the road from Willow Beach, and they were kind of just like looking at other options out there. And I guess Willow Beach was a little too low class for them. They wanted something fancier. So that was a bummer. What else we got going on? Kawartha Dairy. That's a big deal too. We'd always go for Kawartha Dairy ice cream. I don't know if you guys have seen the one up in, I don't even know where it is, honestly. It's up like in Halliburton area, but there's a giant cow on the roof. And then like you line up outside, and there's like a little takeout window. There's always a line there, because I guess everyone in cottage country is going to this Kawartha Dairy. But yeah, going up there, there's like a large porch swing that we'd always eat our ice cream on. Go sit on that, rock back and forth, eat ice cream. I remember getting bubblegum ice cream one time, and that was a terrible idea, because there was actually like bubblegum pieces. So like you take a few bites out of your ice cream, then you're just chewing on gum, and it just completely takes away from your ice cream experience. Because like, do I spit out this gum or do I keep chewing it and just keep multiplying the amount of gum in my mouth? But wouldn't take it back for anything. Wouldn't take it back for anything. Great memory. And what else? There's so much. There's so much at Willow Beach that I could talk about. I'm sure there's so many stories that I just can't. I can't remember the specifics of. I'm looking up at the sky. I'm looking into my brain, looking up at my brain, trying to make it remember stuff, and it's not working too well. Martin was one of the kids camp guys. Martin Gage, and he had a bow staff. So we'd always, as kids, we like if we knew he was in his room, we'd like go shout out his window like Martin, show us the staff. And then he'd like stick the staff out the window and like show us some moves, and he'd like pull up his blinds and just like spinning around. He was a sick guy, like honestly one of the coolest guys. He went on to like work for a water sports company and like teach water skiing and stuff and teach wakeboarding, which that's such a cool thing that's like a possibility for him, just living up in cottage country. I'm sure the winters and stuff are tougher for them, but then you got like ice fishing and snowmobiling and snowshoeing. So yeah, it'd be very cool to grow up on a lake and have that kind of just a completely different, I feel like experience growing up, and also growing up on like a what's it called, like a resort, like just having constantly like different families all around, always coming and going. There's always different people around your house. That'd be super interesting. I wonder what he's up to now, if he's still doing the water sports stuff or if he's moved on to even bigger and brighter things. Peter and Blair, those are some of my buddies. They're in cabin 12, week 2. Yeah, they're the week 2 family in cabin 12. And yeah, Peter I was kind of buddies with, but like that kind of friend where you're like, if you're in a group, you'll talk to him and it's all fun, but if you see each other one-on-one, you're super weird about it. Then he had a younger brother, Blair, which I feel like Blair always tried to fight me, but I was just bigger than him, and I wasn't that big, and so I'd always win. But I just remember that. And Blair was just like a wild, high energy little kid. He would be flying around too on that soccer field, and I would just dummy him. I'm just a stone wall Brock, they called me, because Blair would just run headfirst into my chest and just crack his cranium, and I'd go on and score. I'm sure there's so much more I could talk about. That's where I did my first fishing. I remember the first fish I caught, the hook went through its eye, and then I was like freaking out. I'm like, Dad, I hooked its eye. And then my dad came out, and he's like, he's not a fisherman either. He was like, we just gotta pull it out, I guess. And just like, holding the fish and then just trying to jam a fishing rod back out through its eye. And then we got it out and tossed it back in the water. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's fishing, Aaron. Enjoy. Had a little Mickey Mouse fishing rod. I never really liked the idea of like just pulling fish out, catching them, and then just throwing them back in for the sake of like the whole point was just to catch it, stick a hole in its mouth and see you later fish. I remember some other kids were like, they'd have like a little bucket, so they'd catch fish and then put it in this little bucket. And I didn't like that they were, the fish are now stuck in this little bucket, so I would end up at some point like sneak up behind them and dump the bucket back in the water, and then put it back behind them, and then they'd be like, "Where'd our fish go? Our fish jump out?" And I was like, "No, they didn't. You're just mistreating those animals, and I'm here to stop it." Yeah, what else we got going on Willow Beach? I remember Steven and Rachel, or Scott and Rachel, whatever. I think it's Steven. I think I might have said it was Scott before, and it's definitely Steven. Now that I say it, they got in trouble one year because they were like having a party in the rec hall, and they were dancing. I think Rachel was dancing on the pool table, and the Gages came to us like, "Hey, do you guys know what was going on in the rec hall last night? The pool table broke." And I immediately ratted them out because I didn't like them. I'm like, "Yeah, we know all these kids are up there, and it was like loud music, and they were drinking soda pops, and they were like, there's a lot of energy. We didn't go in there though because we didn't like the look of it. There's no alcohol involved. There's no drugs. There's no nothing. There's just juice packets and 10-year-olds. That's what all it took to break the pool table, ping pong table. What else we got? Badminton. I love playing badminton there, but I always wanted to play at like noon or 1 when the kids camp just got out and was like the hottest part of the day. My mom never wanted to play at that time. She's like, "Let's play at like 4, or let's play early in the morning. Let's play at like 9. I'm like, "Well, I can't do 9, Mom. Kids camp's on." But 4 o'clock would usually work. But yeah, I love playing badminton. Just me and my mom. I was pretty good at it too. I'd love to play it again just to see like how good was I actually? Because I don't know. I feel like I made good contact on it, and I could crush that thing pretty far. But like I never played badminton outside of Willow Beach Cottages. So for 2 weeks a year, I could play badminton for maybe like 5 or 6 times, and that was it. Do you do Blue Powerade? I got a real thirst for Blue Powerade there. So they had a vending machine there, and that was like the top 4 rows were all just Blue Powerade. And I just love, saving up my 250, get myself a Blue Powerade, get myself some Tuck Shop, some food, maybe like an Aero bar and some fuzzy peaches. Just live the dream. Go sit on the patio chairs right outside our cottage. There was like a long line of like 6 or 8 Muskoka chairs, all connected in that weird like deck material. You know what I'm talking about? Not like standard wood, kind of like that faux like plasticky wood kind of thing. So that was like you go sit out there and watch the water. That was a lot of fun. I remember I saw a commercial for the movie Gremlin. I think it was no Leprechaun. Leprechaun, the one with Jennifer Aniston. It was a creepy looking leprechaun. And then I remember just being terrified to sleep because I thought the leprechaun was gonna come into my room and like sneak in. 'Cause there's like it's a single floor cottage. From the ground you can look right in the window, which I hate. Like I never want to have a bedroom on the main floor where someone could just be standing at my window staring through it. I like being elevated, so at least if they gotta put up a ladder, I'm gonna hear it when they're watching me sleep. So I had a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of raccoons scaring me, thinking there were leprechauns coming to eat me. Um, the way the cottage was set up, it was like living room, kitchen all in one, single bathroom, and then 2 bedrooms. So my parents took 1 bedroom, and then my sister and I were supposed to share the other bed. But over time, as we got older, we didn't want to share a bed anymore. So then one person would start sleeping on the couch. It was a fold-out couch in the living room, and I much preferred sleeping in the living room because it was like, it's more of an open space, so I felt safer, even though there's more windows and like the screen doors right there, and then like the back doors in the kitchen too. Just there's something about like I think I was also being close to my parents, like their door would be right beside me, rather than like 2 doors away. I'd have to go out my bedroom door and then back in their bedroom door. So yeah, I got really scared of leprechauns coming and get me back then. I learned how to tie a knot at Willow Beach Cottages, like how to tie like the butterfly knot, the standard knot. I remember tying my bathing suit one day, and like I would just fake it for a while, kind of like just doing things all around, and I was like, "Mom, you gotta tie this. I have no idea what I'm doing." And then one day I was just fiddling around, and I stopped, and I looked down like, "Oh my god, I did it, Mom! Look, I tied my bathing suit." She's like, "Great for you, honey." And that's when I've taken that knowledge with me, but I also feel like I did it like a poor way because I didn't learn from someone else. I just like finally figured out by just making loops and wrapping strings around it, and eventually one permutation stuck. And if you know me, my shoes come apart constantly. All the time I'm stopping to tie my shoes and bending over because my shoes are coming undone. But if I do it in a double knot, the problem is that I can't undo a double knot because they're very tough and I don't have the nails to get under there, so I just have to single knot it. So that my failure to not be able to tie my shoes comes from Willow Beach Cottages. Now you know that. What else we got? What else we got? The raft. Oh, the raft was a big deal. So at the beach, it was called Willow Beach Cottages because at the beach there's this really big willow tree that it was like almost parallel to the ground. So you could walk on the trunk and then walk around like a big branch that's sticking out and then back onto the flat portion. And then from there they had a rope swing, so you could swing out and then jump into the water. It wasn't super deep, and my dad learned that the hard way because he went off the rope swing like early on in the year and just landed, crushed his ass, just straight to the bottom. It's maybe like 4 feet deep or something when you jump off. It's made for kids. But that was a ton of fun. And then they had a raft way out, probably not even that far out, honestly. You could walk like 3/4 of the way out there. But it's just like a raft, just like a floating dock with a ladder on it. So you go out there and play like King of the Hill, try and throw each other off, or you'd race to the raft, or you'd raft stuff. You'd swim out there, you jump off into the water, you climb back up, you jump off again, or you stay on the raft for too long, where you dry off, and then you're like too scared to get back in the water because it's gonna be too cold. So you're just sitting up there, and your mom's yelling at you like, "You gotta come in for dinner." You're like, "It's gonna be cold though. I don't know what I'm gonna do." Yeah, the raft's a ton of fun, but also scary. Cause remember, I also saw that movie. I never saw it. I saw a trailer for that movie, Anaconda, with that giant snake in the jungle. And then I remember getting on the raft one day and then thinking about that anaconda. And then I'm like, well, now I'm too scared to get back in the water because there's a massive snake in there. So that's a lot of. I was very, very responsive to horror movies back in the day.
If you're hearing some weird noise in the background, that is just Ethan practicing the drums next door. So shouldn't last too long, or it might last the rest of the podcast. I don't know. I haven't finished listening to it yet. Back to me though.
What else do we got? Honestly, I don't really remember a ton of other specific. Like, there's no like big story that I could tell you about Willow Beach. I wish there was. Maybe it'll come to me after like bringing up these memories. It'll come to me next week. But just a ton of like a really fun 2 weeks. I remember like the last year we went was kind of like it felt like it was. We didn't know it was gonna be the last year, but like so many of the families had like changed. I guess their kids had grown up, so like doing different things now. So like, you know, it'd be moving day and all the cottages would be empty, and then it's just us on the property as they're like cutting the grass. You know, we're just sitting on the beach alone, and then families slowly start rolling in throughout the day, and it's just like less and less of my friends showing up. So at the end of the day, you'd be like, wow, I have no friends here. I have no one to spend the next week with, which, I mean, back then it was devastating for me because I was not good at making friends. Now I feel like I could adapt. You know, I could figure it out. But also, like being sorry, my alarm's going off. But also, like being there as like a 28-year-old probably wouldn't be, you know, trying to make friends with 8-year-olds probably wouldn't be a great look for me. But yeah, that was, yeah, very fond memories. And then after Willow Beach, so we would rent just like family cottages. Some, I think one was on the same kind of idea of like a large property with multiple cottages. That one kind of sucked. I remember. I think it rained a lot. We had to move cottages because of something. There's something wrong with that cottage to like move to a better one. I don't remember any of the people there. I just remember like watching storms blowing over the lake. Yeah, no great memories. I think that's actually, there was a gas station that had movies, and I saw I Love You Man in a bin. I'm like, I think I remember liking this movie. And then I watched I Love You Man religiously after that. Bought it for like $5. Watched it, you know, watched the full movie, then watched the full movie, the commentary, then watched just the commentary, then watched the deleted scenes, then watched that DVD front to back. And that's how it became my favorite movie, just because like rainy days and just watching I Love You Man here and Paul Rudd and Jason Segel talk about it. Love that movie. Then there's another cottage I remember we rented where my sister and I spent most of the time watching Supernatural, that TV show. She brought like the first 4 seasons on box set, brought them all up to the cottage, and we were just binging it. That show is so good. Honestly, I was like hooked on it. And the cottage was it was on like a steep cliff, so it'd be like a very small cottage, kitchen, 2 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms was bunk beds. And then like a steep steps down to a little dock, and then you just go swimming. And there's like nothing else around to do. So it's like if you're not swimming, that's about all you can do. If you're not swimming, you're sitting in the cottage. So we just watched for hours each day, just watching Supernatural. Just me and Jensen Ackles just bonding. And what's the other guy's name? Jensen Ackles and Dean's the character name. Jared Padalecki, I want to say. Yeah. And then the final cottage I think we went to, we had Abby, our first Cocker Spaniel, our only Cocker Spaniel, our first dog. And it was just, I have no idea where it was, just some cottage out in the bush. Again, little dock. And I remember at that time, just before we went there, I had asked out this girl, Jodie Fisher. And first girl I ever asked out. I guess second, because I technically asked out Aaron Ross too. I read that love letter I wrote to her a long time ago on the podcast. That was like the first journal entry I read. But yeah, I'd asked this girl out, and I'm like, hey, when I get back from the cottage, we're gonna go on this date. She's like, okay, yeah, looking forward to it. And I was like super looking forward to it. And I was like, we should go home early. You know, nothing's going on here. I think the last 2 days it was raining, so I like convinced my parents that we should just drive back early and like enjoy the rest of the vacation at home. And then I drove back home, and I was like, messaged Joy like, hey, I'm back from the cottage. And she's like, I don't think I want to go on a date anymore. And I'm like, I still have no idea what happened in those 2 weeks. Don't know. She seemed very into it. We did like a double date before I left with me and Reed and Jordy and Christina. Went to like the lakeshore and walked around and took a bunch of photos. Had a great time. And then yeah, she just turned around. She's like, I don't wanna go on this date with you. And that crushed me. A crushing blow to Aaron's ego, and just heartbroken. And yeah, I was mopey for a long time after that. She's married now to some other guys. He's no Aaron Brock, so she kind of lost out on that one. She could have had a part of this Aaron out pie, and now she's stuck traveling the world with her rich boyfriend. So who showed her? I did. Yeah, that was the last cottage we did, and have not been on a. I guess we did do a road trip out to the East Coast. We had Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick. The only thing I really remember from that is Pizza Delight, an absolutely killer pizza place. It was like 9 o'clock at night. Everything was closed. We were all tired, and we found this place, Pizza Delight, and we rolled in there. And I swear it was the best pizza I've ever eaten. And I've had John's Bleecker in New York City, and that pizza was so incredible that like for the rest of the trip, every time we're like, "What should we get to eat?" And I'm like, "Pizza Delight. Let's get Pizza Delight." And it was like a special, situation because we were the only ones in the restaurant too. So like the pizza was just made for us. It was like freshly made. Everyone put all their focus into it, and we had like this nice quiet restaurant all to ourselves after a long day of driving. And yeah, that pizza just hit so hard. I also had my first Big Mac on that road trip, and that hooked me. Every time we drove past McDonald's, I wanted to muck a Big Mac. Those Tim Hortons sausage biscuits just came out too, and I ate every single day for breakfast. My parents would go get a coffee. I'm like, give me a sausage biscuit. Crushed too. Absolutely love those. What else do we do for vacations? I'm trying to think. I had something come across my mind. I was talking about Supernatural, and I don't remember what it was. I also used to go on camping trips with my friend Ryan and his family. I didn't really want to do them. I remember he would always invite me, like they do these 2-week like road trips where they, rather than stay at one place like we would always do, they would like camp at a site for a day to 3 days and then pack up and move on again. And the trek I remember the most, we ended up in went to Sault Ste. Marie. I remember that was a super long drive. It was like an 8-hour driving day. We were watching movies on his portable DVD player in the back seat, and went to Pancake Bay and Sauble Beach. I don't know what the order was, so if you're better at Ontario geography than I am, you can probably figure that out. Sauble Beach, Pancake Bay, and Sault Ste. Marie. And yeah, those were like, they were fun trips, but also I hated how much his dad made us do like all the work. I don't know if it actually was like a ton of work, but like I remember always like setting up the tent, taking down the tent, packing up the truck, taking down the trailer, setting up the trailer, doing everything, gathering firewood. Like I felt like we were just doing all the work for the campsite. And I remember I got home and I complained about that to my parents, and then they, of course, they go ahead and like just tell Ryan's parents like, "Oh, I hear Aaron's working a lot on the camping trip." And then of course, then I got Ryan's parents talking to me because my parents can't keep a goddamn secret. Just ratted me out immediately. That's gotta be the worst thing parents do. You tell them something in confidentiality, and they immediately go tell the person you told them about. Like, come on, like be chill for once. But those were a lot of fun camping trips. One day I remember we got in a lot of trouble. It was like it was raining, and Ryan and I were just like up early reading. We were reading books in our tent, think we're being good boys, and his dad was just like, his mom and dad were like, "Come on, guys, we gotta go. Everything's getting wet. We gotta go now." And it was like an hour after they had told us to like pack up our stuff. We finished our books, and then we got out and packed it up, and it was just, everything was soaking wet. So for the next camps that we got to, everything was drenched. Like, this is what you have to deal with when you guys are being lazy, slob, no good buffoons. And like we were reading, we were expanding our minds, but no, they wanted to hit the road. So yeah, I don't remember a ton of details. I remember Pancake Bay being super cool. It was like the first white sand beach I'd ever seen. Yeah, so that place was awesome. Sauble Beach, I kind of remember just like vibes of like a beach town, kind of like driving, kind of like Wasaga Beach vibe too, but just like, like those like string lights all along the sides of the roads, and like little cabana shops, and lots of patios and people walking around in swim trunks and shirts off. I remember like a Cali vibe. I remember that being super cool and wanting to go back there. I haven't been back since. I've never been back to Sauble Beach or Pancake Bay. Not even sure where Sauble Beach or Pancake Bay are, to be honest. I just know probably somewhere in the vicinity of Sault Ste. Marie. What kind of movies did we watch? I remember we watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith. A lot of old, maybe like The Day After Tomorrow. A lot of like old 2000s actions movies is what we would watch. Yeah, Ryan was like, he was like my best friend all through elementary school. And like after 8th grade, we just split, just different directions. His mom was my babysitter. So I used to go to his house every single morning and then every single day after school, from like 6th grade into 8th grade or something like that. And it was multiple years. I'd been through like 14 babysitters or so, just always getting passed around. Because my parents always worked till 5 o'clock.
at night. They worked the 9 to 5. Well, my mom did, and my dad was like kind of unsure when he would ever be finished from work. But his truck didn't have enough seats for my sister and I, so even if he got home early, we were still stuck at the babysitters till mom could get us. But yeah, I used to go to Ryan's house and watch him play video games, just like talk him through. I feel like that's where a lot of my video game skill comes from, because I would just watch him play the game and like figure out what to do, and then whenever he got stuck, I'd be like, oh yeah, just do this, like solving puzzle. I remember I solved the water temple puzzle for him in Zelda because he was just stuck as hell. I'm like, oh, it's so easy. All you gotta do is this. Um, yeah, a lot of like Nintendo games, because I didn't have a GameCube or Nintendo. He was the Nintendo guy. I was the PlayStation guy. So like I remember on Boxing Day, I went to his house. He'd just gotten a GameCube, and I watched him play Super Mario Sunshine, and I was like, man, this game is sick. And then watched him play through Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I watched him play through a ton of games. I didn't really get to play much at all. He got a PC early on too, so I remember watching him play like Age of Empires and Command and Conquer, all those games up there on his computer. Yeah, we listened to albums. Yeah, he was my source. I didn't really listen to a ton of music back then. I would just listen to like whatever other people were listening to. So he would like have me listen to like Good Charlotte and Simple Plan and American Idiot when that came out. That was a big deal. I think I was in 5th grade. I want to say, was that like 2005 when Green Day came out? American Idiot. Yeah, I listened to a lot of that stuff. Played Bionicles. Built like Lego, big Lego structures. I wanted to build like a Lego base. I remember I built a 6 sliding door, because I had like those smooth pieces on the bottom, then like built 2 walls and then one in the middle that could slide back and forth, make like a secret base, play Lego. Yeah, I had a ton of fun with Ryan, and then I don't even know what happened, honestly. Just one of those things where you just grow up and you just, different interests take you in different paths. He went more into I feel like part of it might have been I was always just like smarter than him. I remember he got good grades in elementary school, but he also had to like work really hard, and his mom would help him. Whereas I was more like just coasting, do everything the night before, whatever. Don't really have to study for tests. Don't. My mom and dad just make sure I'm doing my homework at some point. They know when this project's due, but they weren't like helping me out do it or anything. But like his mom would like help him build like dioramas and make costumes and stuff, and prepare presentations and like for speeches and that. And I was just always like just on my own doing it. So I think that might have drove a wedge in between it. And then he also got into like smoking weed very early on, which now, dude, if he smokes weed now, that's a pro. That's a plus. I got so many people trying to give me free weed. Ryan, we could get back together. But yeah, just kind of split apart. He had a different crowd he hung out with. He was more into like being cool. I remember he asked me, would you rather be a prankster or a gangster? And I'm like, I'd rather be a prankster, make people laugh. It'd be a lot of fun. And he goes, no, dude, you want to be a gangster. You're not cool, Aaron. And I stick by that choice. I still would rather be a prankster than a gangster. But yeah, I guess he got into more, it's that rap music that corrupted him, I guess. Yeah. Started wearing baggy clothes, started wearing a backwards hat, started dating girls. And then, yeah, we just went in different directions. That's a lot of my elementary school friends. I feel like, yeah, there's like the Ryan crowd. They all went with him. Then there is the me crowd. And then some people floated in between both. Like Lucas, I feel like still talked to both groups of people for a while. But now he's off. I think he's like a plumber in Toronto. So he's got to be making good money. He's doing well for himself. I think a lot of people from that group actually went into like the trades, which good for them. That's a great career path. Very stable. Make good money. Probably doing better than I am financially. I'm still just wandering about out here. But yeah, that was a big detour from vacations. Ryan had a great dog, Taya, too. Taya can't be still around, just a golden retriever. I remember she came from Quinn, who I was talking about. His parents would breed dogs. They'd give away golden retrievers. So I remember a lot of people I went to elementary school with had some of Quinn's dogs. And Taya was one of them. Yeah, she was a great dog. Real sweetheart. Yeah, we used to do sleepovers all the time, like every weekend. And I always wanted to do a Friday night sleepover so then I can catch up on sleep again, like Saturday night and then sleeping on Sunday. No one ever wanted to do Friday night sleepovers. Everyone wanted to do Saturday night sleepovers. Then you're up till like 11 o'clock at night watching movies, or maybe even midnight sometimes. And then you're waking up at 8 o'clock on a couch that's too small for you and it's uncomfortable and it's covered in cat hair. And you're having like toast and cereal for breakfast. Yeah, it's just still great times. We had so many sleepovers. I remember on like my I still am a conky, so it must have been like 2002 or something. I had a birthday party, and Quinn had called me like, "Hey, do you want to come over for a sleepover?" And I looked at my mom like, "Mom, Quinn wants me to sleep over. Say no. Say no. I don't want to. I'm too scared. Too scared." So I'm like, "Oh no, sorry, man. My mom said no, can't do it." And then I had so many sleepovers with Quinn after that, having like we would have Nerf wars and just play video games and eat goldfish because his family had would have junk food around. My family never had junk food around. You'd have mucking on goldfish and sodas, playing Freedom Fighters. Oh man, we had so much fun in that game. Yeah, 007, Halo, yeah, you name it, we played it probably. Yeah, those are great memories. Those I mean, I still like video games, but like the nostalgia of just playing video games in the same room as another person like that, it's still better in my opinion. It's kind of like board games are a lot of fun just because you're all in the same room chatting, and like the board game's almost secondary to what you're doing, I guess, depending on like how intensive the game is. But like it's the the commentary and the talking about it, and sharing snacks and sharing stories in between moves. It's just not the same when you're like doing it over Discord. And there's that like computer disconnect between chatting to your friends. You're just like you're not occupying the same space. So yeah, it would be nice to have like more couch games, which Nintendo's good at that, but it's much harder to get everyone together because everyone's in like a different city across Ontario or across the country or across the world. So it's a lot tougher to get all the boys together. But it sounds like Will's gonna come down next weekend, which should be a good time. And then I think we're gonna go to Michael's the homecoming game, Waterloo versus Guelph at Waterloo. Go watch that with a bunch of the Westmount people. See our boy play football. I still don't know how, like, if I have to get tickets beforehand or if I don't have a Watt card, so I can just get in. I also gonna be weird just being there. Probably gonna be a lot of first years there, and I'm gonna be like this old dude in the crowd, just 10 years older than everybody, cheering on my guy. But it'll be really nice to see everybody. So hopefully that all pans out and everyone goes. And yeah, I think Will's coming up this weekend, so that'll be nice to see him. Hang out with Will and Chris. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think I really got to. Oh, you want to hear one little story? I'd written this down. I just remembered it the other day. But I was with Will. We were going to Woodstock to hang out with one of his old roommates and one of our buddies, Cole. And I was in my rough phase. I had a very scraggly, dirty beard that I'd never cut, and I was overweight, and I was looking in bad shape. I was not looking good, and just heavily drinking at any moment, and at this point, drinking and smoking weed at the same time. Well, like at the same night, not immediately at the same time. Yeah. So we were going up to Cole's house to have a party. I guess it was his birthday. So they had like a bunch of people over, a bunch of people I didn't know. So my solution was just get really drunk, and then like it doesn't matter if you know people or not. So yeah, drank a lot of booze, and then like after the booze phase, you're like, oh well, now we'll just get into some weed to putter yourself down, wind down for the night, and it just brain shut off, just brain soup after that bowl hits you. So we're playing Jackbox, like the online. I feel like most people know what Jackbox is. If you don't, it's it's a video game where everyone plays via their phone. So you set it up like through a computer or through an Xbox or something, and then you go to the Jackbox website and you enter the room code, and then everyone plays. Everyone who has a phone can play all these different games. Like Fibbage is a common one where it's like you'll give you a fact and leave a blank in it, and everyone fills in the blank and tries to get other people to guess their blank. It's kind of like Balderdash. Or like Quiplash, where it just asks you, gives you a prompt, like the worst place to have your honeymoon, and then everyone just answers on their phone, but everyone gets like different questions, and they pair up the two people that have the same question. They pair them up, they go head to head, and you vote on the best answer. And honestly, it's just who can be the filthiest, just disgusting, rude, insulting answers usually get the best when you're with a drunk crowd. So I'm just a heathen when I play Quiplash, just trying to bring people down and just really nail their insecurities, So we're playing that, and I remember I'm not having any luck on Quiplash. I'm not getting any points on the board. It's going really slowly. I'm in a terrible state, like catatonic, just really drunk, really high, really tired, not sure what's going on. And at some point, one of Cole's friends looks over at me and goes, "What the fuck, dude?" And I'm like, "Whoa!" Like I don't know. Did I have a bad answer? I'm sorry, I don't really know what's going on. And he grabs my phone out of my hand, like, what the, man, that's not fucking cool, dude. And I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on. And then I realized that was not my phone. That was his phone. And I had not been playing Jackbox at all. I had just been texting my answers to one of his coworker over and over again, just every single time. Like, dick pump exploded on penis. Big boobs, milky milk. You know, just not non-coherent, trying to be creative and clever, but just not available to it. You know, just didn't have the brain power to do it. So I had sent like 5 or 6 texts to this guy's coworker. The worst part was I didn't get any points in Quiplash, but yeah, that was a real tough look. Waking up the next morning, that was like one of those hesitancies where I'm like, oh man, I don't really want to face this guy, but he was much more chill about it, and everyone else was like, yeah, those are really funny texts, man, those are cracking us up. So it was a good move overall, but yeah, that was a tough realization that you're not playing Jackbox, you're just texting a stranger on a stranger's phone. I also remember at that party I puked in a sink. I was in the bathroom, like, it's a tough move puking in the sink because the toilet's right beside the sink, but I just like could not make it down there to lift the toilet seat up. Puked in the sink, and then spent like 15 minutes running the water and like jamming like all the chunks back down the sink, making sure it works. So I was in there for a while, and I'm like, man, I don't want to come out of this bathroom because everyone's gonna know I've been in here for 15 minutes. But at some point you just got to make that move. So I was like kind of nonchalantly walk out like nothing happened, just kind of like walk through the house and go sit beside Will on the couch and just like chat with him for a bit. And then like 10 minutes later, Cole comes out like, oh man, who puked in the sink, dude? It's disgusting. And he's like walking around like, someone puked in the sink, it's so clogged, it's overflowing, oh my god. And he rounds the corner and looks at Will and I and goes, man, someone puked in the sink and it's awful. You two are good though, I know you guys didn't do it. And I'm like, sweet. Not gonna confess to this one, then just gonna take this W and not say a word until right now. So yeah, Cole, my bad. I clogged your sink. Don't know how bad. That was probably you probably had to take the pipes out and like really hose it down. That's probably gross. It was a gross puke. We had a pretty big meal before that party too, so there's a lot of chunks coming out there. But yeah, that was the only thing I heard. That Jackbox story is really the only other real story I wrote down. Vacations from Jackbox, and we'll save that dream, I guess, for another time. If you guys want to hear another dream, might be sick of them by now. So yeah, who knows? But once again, guys, thank you for listening through 51 weeks of these podcasts. Hopefully this one, maybe it gave you some nostalgia cast. Just speakings of my childhood and all that stuff. Maybe you know me a little bit better now. Maybe not, because I didn't really give you too many personal details. It's more like, I remember I did this, and then we also did this, and then I also did this, and I had a friend, and now we're not friends. So not super insightful, but whatever. It's a podcast, and that's what you guys are used to. So thanks for listening to episode 51. Next week, big anniversary, episode 52, the 1 year. Look forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of exciting stuff. Should be a big week, in that I want to get that sketch out next week too. It's been very hard to find time to actually. I've been too busy, so finding time to actually sit down and edit it. But I think I can get like a few hours here and there, a couple nights a week, and then hopefully this weekend we'll see how busy we are with the guys over. That would be nice to get a good chunk of that done, so I can get that out to you guys like by the end of next week. So thanks for listening, folks. Hope you have yourself a great week. Hope you had a nice long weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Aaron out.
Hey, you did a great job listening to this podcast, and I really think you're going to do a great job again next week. So be sure to tune in to Aaron Air Out every Monday on Spotify, Google, and Apple. Also, find me on YouTube at Aaron the Brock. Take it easy, folks.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.